Hi, welcome. Today we're going to be doing an owl snowflake, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. This one is a 12-inch snowflake, which means you need to start with a 12-inch square of paper. Today I'm going to be using some wrapping paper. Set that aside. And I like to use the wrapping paper that has the squares on the back because it just makes it easier. I can just count over 12 squares. Oh, this one is almost there anyway, it looks like. Since I'm almost there anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and cut out. I'm just going to go ahead and make my square. And that'll give me a little bit of extra space on the top. This one is actually about 15 inches square. Go ahead and make my square by lining up the short side with the long side. Let me do my pattern, make sure I don't cut it. We'll go ahead and cut along this edge of the paper. That creates my square, and that also creates fold number 1. Now I'm going to match up these two small points. That makes fold number 2. Then I'm going to go ahead and fold this over again. Fold up this side for fold 3. And remember, if you don't have wrapping paper, newspaper works really well. Don't be afraid to ask it if there's a printing office nearby, to ask if you can have one of their end rolls. Sometimes you can purchase those. Sometimes they'll even be just recycling them, and so they'll let you have those for free. Okay. And we're just going to refold 3. Just make sure we have some nice creases there. Okay, this is just here to show you, this is my original sketch that I did, and then I cut out. It's just to show you how I make the pattern. And then I go ahead and I'll make a snowflake from my original sketch, and then I'll scan that and make the pattern from that first original snowflake. If it turns out well, sometimes I'll go through a couple different versions before I find one that I like. Okay, this time I'm going to go ahead, since it's so much bigger, just because I ended up with that extra space, just because it was there. I mean, I wouldn't have used that extra 3 inches on the wrapping paper probably for anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and use paper clips. I was thinking of using the stapler like I had shown you before, and if you're a beginner, you could go ahead and use staples and put just in between here where you're going to cut out, just for stability. Like I've said before, I don't usually use staples. I usually go ahead and use paper clips because I like to experiment with the leftover pieces. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what we come up with for this leftover piece here on top. I wasn't expecting that, but that'll be a fun little bonus for us today. And with this one, there's not really a center, so you could even go ahead and put a staple right in here too to help stabilize as you're cutting out. So I do suggest that you make sure you have a good set of folds right there on the owl's face, and that you even line it up a little bit closer. Just make sure you have all the folds. Make sure you have it. Let's see. Let's bring this paper back for a second that we used to cut out, just so you can see. I'm making sure that I have all the folds so that I don't lose the little details, but I'm wanting it to be close to the side, so I don't end up with a huge beak on the owl. He does have a little bit of a cartoonish face. It's not super realistic, so that's something that you can decide to change if you would like. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way. So as usual, I start with the paper punch. If I'm going to use a paper punch, I usually start with that first. And we're going to go ahead and just punch right here for his eye. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut out the details here, his little beak. And then the little ruffles here for his feathers. If you want to change these a little, go ahead. As an artist, you can change things. You don't have to do an exact copy. You can decide what you like about the original, and you can decide what maybe would look better or would be more personalized for you or for the gift recipient. Make sure that I'm getting that all the way through. I think I'm going to make that just a little wider. I didn't quite get there. These are a little bit different for me visually, just trying to cut things out as compared to my normal angle when I'm cutting. Still feel like I missed just a little teeny bit here. See if I can get that piece. There we go. I think we got it that time. All right, and then let's do these other ones. Just trying to give a little bit of the impression of just some little ruffled feathers through here. Again, it's a cartoony image of an owl, so it's got the giant eyes. Something that culturally we recognize as an owl right away. Just a visual representation that very quickly we pick up. That's supposed to be an owl. At least hopefully I'm hoping that you're thinking, oh yeah, that's an owl. That's the idea. So, okay. And then I'm going to leave this part underneath until last for stability. I know normally I leave the ears on and then I work whatever above, you know, the ears I leave until last. But again, with some of these more complicated ones, I want to do the complicated shape first and leave the center part for stability. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm actually going to grab another paper clip here because I'm going to want to make sure that I've got a nice stable base. All right, and then I need to decide what side I want to come in on. I'm going to go ahead and start here. Now I am actually going to try, since I have so much space above, to keep the space above and do an additional snowflake. So this is going to take me longer because I'm trying to keep both pieces. If you are not worried about keeping both pieces, then you are not going to need to be this picky. You don't need to take this long if you don't want to. Of course, this is good cutting practice. If you try hard to stay on the line and keep both, it is good scissor practice. But it's also good scissor practice if you wanted to say, just cut in from the side and cut out the top. Cut in from the side. You know what I mean? And you don't have to keep it all as one piece. I am just going to try to be picky because I'm going to try to keep it as a 2-in-1. So we'll try to get 2 snowflakes out of this one piece of paper. So we'll see how we do. And again, don't be afraid to change it. So if you decide you want to prune the tree, you want to change how the branches are, go ahead. That's just fine. It will change the look of the snowflake, but again, it's art, and you as the artist can decide what you like, what you want to keep, and you can decide what you want to change. It's always fun to add personal little details to things, especially if you're making a gift for a friend. It's always fun to add something that's that you know that they like, or that's part of a memory that you have together. I need to shift this down just a little bit. It's providing support, but it's also getting in the way of my scissors. So let's try again. It's going to get a little tricky to make sure that I don't cut off some of my, that I don't accidentally prune some of my branches here. Since I'm trying to keep both sides. Just remember to pause at the point to turn the paper. Pause at the point and turn the paper. You don't have to put your arms in all kinds of awkward positions. I mean, I do turn my hands a little bit, but mostly I'm pausing and turning the paper. Pause and turn the paper again. So my apologies to those who want this a little faster. I usually put the fast speed version on Instagram, so you feel free to check that out there. It's a lot less cringy. It's neat to watch it in fast speed. I do enjoy that, actually. It's pretty cool to see it come together really fast. Not realistic, but cool. All right. I usually try to keep this as realistic as possible because I want your expectations to be realistic. And of course, as you're learning, give yourself time. You need time to learn things, and it just takes a lot of patience as you're learning. It takes a little bit of time, and as your skills improve, you will get faster, but don't be afraid to go slow as you're learning. It's better to go slow and learn the skills correctly than to go fast and just never improve on the skills. So. Okay. I might make this one a little shorter since I'm trying to keep it for the second one. I'm going to make this one just a little shorter than before so I can try to keep it for the second outside snowflake. I try not to change these when I'm making them, which is so hard for me because of course I like to change things. It's probably one of the hardest things for me is when I'm doing the demos is to not make changes because I like to make changes. Let's see, I'm having a hard time seeing here. Cutting a little bit blind for a minute. Hopefully we keep that all in one piece, especially since I just changed the pattern slightly to try to keep it as one. We'll see in just a second if I was successful or not. On one of my last posts I put, don't be afraid, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't get paralyzed by perfection, because you need to enjoy the process and you need to learn. And if you're paralyzed by perfection, you're never going to learn. You're just going to be stuck where you are So it's not going to help you. You know, you're never going to improve if you're just so focused on being perfect that you never even try. So it's just something that I hope that you just don't worry about being perfectly perfect. You know, you need to give yourself enough space that you can try things. And I hope that you're enjoying the snowflakes. I want you to enjoy it. I want it to be a fun activity for you. I don't want this to be a stressful activity. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be something that you can personalize. It's not a test. I'm not coming to check to make sure you did it my way. I want to see that you're putting your own spin on it. That's what I'm most excited about, is that you're going to be able to learn these skills and then be able to make your own snowflakes or your own designs wherever you choose to take it. That's the cool thing. Doing my best to stay in screen. I apologize. I have a hard time seeing sometimes when I'm cutting. Let's see. Just make sure I'm not shifted too much. Getting lots of little pieces of paper everywhere. Just gotta make sure I don't accidentally snip anything that I don't want to snip. There we go. Just making sure I have that lined up. Oops. Let's try that again. Okay. Go ahead here. So close. Some of you will be glad I'm only doing this one time through. Okay, but the good news is I'll have two to show for it, hopefully, as long as I don't mess this one up too much. I think so far so good. Just gotta find my way back to that spot. Make sure I have a good Alright, hopefully you're still able to see and I'm still able to see. It's quite the battle for this one. So things definitely are different on and off camera, just like always. TV world and real world, a little bit different. I am try and do my best to hold this so that you can see. All right. So close. Here we go. Make sure we're lined up here. Scoot that over just a little bit, make sure I don't fall off either side here. Sorry, you can see it sliding on me. Sliding both ways. I just don't want to, so close to the end there, I don't want to lose it at the last minute. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, and then one last cut here. This one should be easy. Hopefully I don't jinx it. Nice smooth curve underneath the owl. And you can see originally I thought about putting a nice hiding spot inside the tree for the owl, but then I decided that it would detract from the rest of the design, so I decided not to do that. But that's something that you could consider putting in if you wanted to. It's something that's still tempting for me to put in. But we'll go ahead and open this up and then you can decide what you think. Okay, here we go. I'm going to move these out of the way for a minute. And we'll go ahead and open up this one. You can see it is a little different. I'll flip that over even. A little bit different than the original, but not much. Maybe it's just the shading on it that makes it look different. One of the things I like about this snowflake actually is that from far away it really does look a lot like a real snowflake. Just the large hexagon with some detail in the center. And I'll see if I can find a light piece of paper to take some pictures on later, but there's that one. And then I'll go ahead and see what we can do with the outside here. Let's see if we can do a little bit of freehand. See what we can come up with just for fun. Get those out of the way. Let's see, and of course we can go all the way up to this line. We don't want to go up onto the ears, but we can go up to that line. We'll see what we can do. There's so many small details in it that I'm not sure how much I want to do more that's small details. I like to kind of echo some of the shapes from below. All right, let's see how it turns out here. It was quite a bit of extra work to do all the extra inside. Let's see what it turns out to be. Oh, and I didn't quite get all the way through on that one, did I? We can, is it just stuck? No, need to cut that out. All right. See, there's a little piece still left from that one. Guess we better cut that one out. Oops. Better cut it out where I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. So there we go. Just kind of a fun outer 2-in-1. Thank you for watching.